Long before the sun rose this morning before they opened their eyes or took their very first breath, God was already watching over them and holding them in his thoughts. He held their name in his heart with a gentle, tender love, like a father quietly watching over his sleeping child. They did not earn his love this morning, nor did they wake up and do something special to deserve his attention. It was simply there, just like the sky is there, or the very air they breathe, filling their lungs without them ever needing to ask. That is how constant, effortless, and deep his love for them truly is. But there is something he wants to share that the world never could. Something that no amount of money, no relationship or success, and no great achievement could ever truly speak to the deepest part of their soul. He wants to look straight into the parts they hide from everyone else. The secret rooms kept locked away behind their smiles, their busy schedules, and the false images they show the world, and he wants to speak to them clearly without any conditions attached. He sees them, their true self, and he calls them beautiful. Not beautiful in the shallow way the world defines it, not because of how they look, what they achieve, or how popular they might be. They are beautiful simply because they are his. Beautiful because he created them on purpose, with purpose, and for a destiny this world has not yet fully witnessed. They are no mistake. They are certainly not an accident. They are not a lesser version of someone else. They are exactly, precisely, and wonderfully who he designed them to be. Now he invites them to walk together through the quiet of this moment, through the stillness of wherever they are resting or sitting right now. There is so much he wants to say. There is so much he has been waiting to tell them. And he promises, if they will stay with him, through every word of this quiet encounter, their heart will never be the same again. There is a feeling deep inside them that they have never been able to fully name. It is not sadness exactly, though sometimes it mimics grief. It is not loneliness exactly, though. Sometimes it feels just like it. It is a deep, quiet ache that rests in the very center of their chest. A feeling that no matter what they do, no matter how many good things happen in their life, something is still just slightly off. Something is still just slightly missing. They have tried hard to figure it out, telling themselves that if they could just get that one thing, achieve that goal, or find that person, then finally at long last they would feel completely whole. Finally they would feel settled. Finally that quiet ache would fade away. But every time they get what they wanted, after the excitement fades, after the newness wears off, that feeling remains, waiting for them like a quiet guest who never leaves. He does not share this truth to make his children feel worse. He shares this because he wants them to understand something that will change everything. That quiet ache they feel is no mistake. It is not a flaw in their design. It is actually proof they are functioning exactly the way he designed them to. He built that longing into them on purpose. He placed it there like a compass that always points home, because he is their home. Their hearts were made for him, and they will keep searching, keep aching, feeling that something is missing until they finally find rest in him. Think of it this way. Imagine they are carrying a puzzle piece, constantly trying to fit it into every puzzle they find. They try fitting it into the puzzle of money. They try fitting it into the puzzle of their personal relationships. They try fitting it into the puzzles of success, reputation, beauty, and comfort, but none of them work because that puzzle piece was only ever designed for one puzzle, the puzzle of his love, his presence, and his peace. The world will keep trying to sell them new puzzles. The world is skilled at making beautiful-looking boxes with pictures that seem to promise everything their hearts are looking for. But he assures them right now with all the love in his heart that the peace they are searching for cannot be found in those boxes. It can only be found in him. He is the sole answer to the soul's constant questioning. Here is his invitation to them right now in this moment, to stop running, to stop searching, to stop trying to heal the ache with things never designed to fix it, to be still, to take a breath, feeling his presence right there with them. Because he is, there always has been, and in his presence, that quiet restlessness can finally begin to settle, like a boat finally finding its dock after a long and stormy journey at sea. They are home, his children. They are home. Every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage the viewers, they can support this mission through PayPal, links in the description and pinned comment. Thanks to everyone for being part of this journey. Now, he wants to speak about something that they keep so quietly hidden in the deepest part of their hearts. Something they almost never share. with anyone. Because the moment they speak it aloud, it feels too big, too impossible, too much. Like the kind of thing that happens to other people, but probably not to them. This is about their dreams. Not small everyday goals, but the truly massive ones. The ones that make their heart beat a little faster when they let themselves think about them for even a moment. The ones they secretly picture when their mind wanders. The ones that feel so large and so far away that sometimes they almost feel embarrassed to even have them. As if wanting something that big is somehow selfish, foolish, or arrogant. Maybe they dream of healing their family, of being the person who finally breaks a cycle of pain that has been passed down through generations. Maybe they dream of creating something like a business, a piece of art, a community, something that genuinely makes the world a little bit better. Maybe they dream of living a life that truly matters, a life that when it is over, people will look back on and say, something real happened here. Something good was done in this world because this person lived. And then they look at themselves, and the gap between who they are and who that dream requires them to be feels enormous. The voice in their head starts listing all the reasons it cannot happen. They are not smart enough. They do not have enough money. They do not have the right connections. They have made too many mistakes. They started too late. They are too young, too old, too ordinary, or too broken. But God wants them to hear Him very clearly on this. Those voices are not His. Not one of them is His voice. His voice sounds completely different. He says that He put those dreams inside them, every single one of them. He planted them in their hearts like seeds, on purpose before they were even born. He knew what He was doing, and He does not plant seeds that He does not intend to grow. Of course, the dream feels bigger than they are. It is supposed to, because the dream is not supposed to be powered by them alone. It is supposed to be powered by Him, flowing through them. He did not give them a dream that perfectly fits their current abilities, because then they would do it all on their own, and they would not need Him at all. He gave them a dream that is bigger than they are, specifically so that as they walk toward it, they must hold His hand. They will have to trust Him. They will have to depend on Him. And in that dependence, something beautiful happens. They do it together. Think about every great thing that has ever been accomplished in history. Think about every person who seemed to rise from nowhere and do something impossible. Do you think they felt completely confident and ready when they started? Do you think they had everything figured out? Of course not. Almost every great thing ever accomplished began with someone who was terrified, deeply uncertain, and fully aware of how small they were against the task before them. The difference between them and those who never tried is simple. They said yes anyway. They took one small step in the direction of that dream, and they trusted the next step would appear when needed. That is all He asks of them. Not to have everything figured out, not to feel fully confident, not to see the whole path from start to finish. He simply asks them to say yes, to take one small faithful step toward what He placed inside their hearts. And He promises them He will take care of everything that needs handling. The provision they need, He will provide. The doors that must open, He will open. The wisdom they need at every turn He will give. The courage for each moment He will fill them with. They must not bury the dream He gave them, nor let the world talk them into living small when He called them to live large. They must protect that dream, just as they would protect something precious and fragile. They are to bring it to Him daily in prayer and talk to Him, allowing Him to shape it, grow it, and guide it. Then they will see what happens when someone says yes to what He placed inside them. And speaking of that, He wants to pause here for just a brief moment to speak directly to their hearts about something. This message is reaching people all over the world right now. People sitting in rooms just like theirs, carrying dreams just like theirs, feeling that same quiet ache they feel. And He is working through this channel to reach them. If this message has touched their hearts, today, He invites them to be a part of carrying it further. They can take a moment to subscribe to this channel if they have not already done so, and share this video with someone who needs these words today. They never know whose life might change because of that one small step of sharing. Now the story continues. He has seen something else about His beloved children that He wants to address. Something that happened quietly over a long period of time, leaving deep marks they never asked for. He has seen those wounds. He does not mean the cuts and bruises that healed on the outside. He means the ones that went deeper, which nobody else can see, because they are invisible to the human eye. The ones made by words spoken over them that should never have been, said by people who should have protected them, but hurt them instead, or by betrayals that shattered their trust, crushed by disappointments so heavy and frequent that somewhere along the way, he quietly decided it was safer to stop expecting good things. He knows about all of them, every single one. He was there when each wound was made. And he wants you to know something he hopes reaches the very core of your heart. He did not watch from a cold distance. He felt it. Every rejection, every unkind word, every moment of abandonment, every broken promise. He was right there with you, and it pained him to see you hurt. You have carried these wounds for a long time, and over the years you have done what most people do with pain. They do not know how to process. You packed it away, building walls up around the most broken places in your heart, telling yourself you were over it. You got busy and you kept moving, because stopping long enough to feel it felt far too dangerous. But let's look at what unhealed wounds do when they are packed away. They do not disappear. They simply go underground, and they keep quietly shaping the way you see yourself, how you relate to other people, and how you relate to him. The person who hurt you 20 years ago is still without you even realizing it, affecting how you respond to people today. The lie spoken over you in childhood still whispers underneath all the logic and reasoning trying to convince you it is true. But your Heavenly Father is not content to leave you like this. He is the great healer, and there is no wound too deep for his love to reach. No brokenness is so shattered that his hands cannot put it back together. In fact, some of the most beautiful things in all of creation are things that were once broken and then restored by him, not just repaired to what they were before, but transformed into something even more remarkable with the story of their restoration written right into them. He wants to begin that process in you today. But here's the truth about healing. It requires you to open the wound to the light. You cannot heal what you keep hidden. And that means doing something very brave, something that goes against every instinct of self-protection you have built up over the years. It means letting him into the places you have kept locked, into the memories you have avoided, and the emotions you have worked so hard not to feel. He knows that it's scary. He knows vulnerability feels dangerous, especially when it is being used against you in the past. But he is not like the people who have hurt you. His love is completely safe, having no conditions, no expectations, and no hidden agenda. When you open those locked doors to him, what enters is not judgment. What enters is not disappointment. What enters now is the most gentle, powerful, and healing love that has ever existed in the entire universe. Right now, in the quiet of this moment, he is asking you to do one brave thing. Think of one wound you have been carrying, just one. The one that still stings when something reminds you of it. The one you hope nobody ever finds out about. Hold it in your mind for just a moment. Then with every ounce of courage, you've opened your hands and surrender it to him. Say the words out loud if you can. Speak them. God, here it is. This is the thing that hurt me. This is the wound I've been carrying. I give it to you. That moment, that single act of surrender is where healing begins. And he promises you he will be faithful to complete what he starts. The wounds that have defined you will become the testimony that strengthens others. The broken places in your story will become the most powerful chapters of it. Nothing you have experienced will be wasted. He is that good at turning pain into purpose. Now he wants to walk with you into a room that exists only in your mind. A room with a mirror. And he wants you to stand in front of that mirror with him and look at what you see. What do we notice first? For most of us, our eyes go immediately to the things we do not like, the things we wish were different, the ways we do not match the image of what we have been told we are supposed to look like or be like. The world has spent years training our eyes to see our flaws first. The beauty industry, the entertainment industry, social media, all of it built on one foundational message that you are not enough as you are. Buy this, use this, look like this. Maybe then you will be enough. And it has worked, has it not? Not just on your body image, but on your whole sense of self. You compare yourself to other people constantly. You see their success and you feel left behind. You see their relationships and you feel lonely. You look at their creativity and you feel ordinary. You see their confidence and you feel small. The comparison never ends because there will always be someone who seems to have more of whatever you think you're lacking. We are committed to spreading hope, faith, and the message of Jesus Christ to people around the world. If you would like to help us continue this work, please visit the PayPal links below. Your kindness means more than words can express. As his dear child, he wants to completely disrupt this way of seeing. He wants to give you a different set of his eyes, and show you what he sees when he looks at you. When he looks at you, he sees someone he made on purpose. He did not close his eyes and throw things together randomly when he made you. He was thoughtful. He was intentional. He gave you your specific mind, your specific personality, your specific laugh, your specific way of seeing the world. All of it done deliberately, because he knew exactly what kind of person this world would need, and he made you to be that person. Your quirks are not accidents. Your unique way of thinking is not a flaw. Your sensitivity, your creativity, your intensity, whatever it is that makes you distinctly you, those things are not errors in the design. They are features. When you look at someone else and wish you were more like them, you are not seeing clearly. You are looking at the cover of their book and comparing it to the inside of yours, which is never fair and never accurate. You do not know their full story. You do not see their private struggles, their quiet fears, their moments of doubt. You only see the version of themselves they chose to show the world, and you are comparing that carefully curated presentation to your own raw, unfiltered, behind-the-scenes reality. Stop playing that game. It is rigged and you cannot win it. Instead, he invites you to play a completely different game, the game of becoming fully, unapologetically, beautifully yourself, not a version of someone else, not a compromise between who you are and who you think you should be, but the fully realized, completely unleashed version of who he made you to be. That person is worth discovering. That person has things to offer this world that no one else can offer. That person is who he dreamed of when he dreamed of you. Your worth is not in your achievements. Your worth is not in your appearance. Your worth is not in what other people think of you. Your worth was established once, permanently and eternally at a cross 2,000 years ago. The price that was paid for your life was not money. It was not effort. It was not a negotiation. It was everything. It was the most precious thing in all of existence, given freely, given completely, given because you were considered worth it. That is your value. That is your price tag. Chosen, purchased, precious, irreplaceable, deeply loved. But let that be the mirror you look into every morning. Let that truth be the foundation you build your self-worth on, because it will never shift, never change, and never depend on what happens to you in the world outside. He wants to talk to you now about something you might not expect him to bring up. He wants to speak about the music in your room. Maybe a song is playing right now, or perhaps there's only silence. But consider the deep role music plays in your daily life. Think about how a single melody can lift you from darkness in seconds. How a song playing during a major moment in your life can take you right back to that moment the instant you hear it. Music can make you feel deep emotions that you cannot put into words. That is no accident. He created music. He designed it to bypass every wall and defense you build around your heart and speak directly to the deepest part of your soul. Music is one of the most powerful languages in the entire universe, and he designed it on purpose because he wanted a way to reach you even in the moments when you were not looking for him. Even in those moments when your guard was up and your heart was closed, a melody can slip through those walls and find a place inside where nothing else can reach. Think about the last time a song genuinely moved you, making you feel something deep and unexpected. That was not just good songwriting at work. That was him. That was him using the gift. He gave a musician to deliver a message directly to your heart. He speaks through music all the time, through a lyric that lands at the exact right moment, through a melody that feels like a warm embrace on hard days, through the song that rises up inside you when you need courage most. And suddenly you find yourself singing along and somehow feeling much stronger than a moment ago. When you worship, when you raise your voice in song toward him, something shifts in the spiritual atmosphere around you that is far more significant than what you can see with your eyes. The darkness that tries to gather around you begins to pull back. The heaviness sitting on your chest begins to lift. Your anxious thoughts, racing around your mind, suddenly begin to quiet. Worship is not merely an emotional experience. It is a powerful spiritual act. It is your declaration, out loud and in song, that he is real, that he is good, that he is worthy, and that no matter what is going on around you, you choose to trust him. That declaration holds immense power. Never underestimate it. And so he encourages you. Let music be a source of life in your space. Be intentional about what you listen to, because the sounds filling your mind every single day are shaping your thoughts, your emotions, and your spirit in ways you might not even realize. Fill your space with music that lifts you, with lyrics reminding you of truth, with melodies that open your heart to Him. Sing along even if your voice is imperfect, even if you can't remember all of the words. In those moments, your heart is doing something beautiful, and He is listening. Today, let's talk about one of the most exhausting burdens a human being can bear, something God has seen people carrying in this very room. In the dark hours of the night, when you lie awake and the thoughts just will not stop. Let's look closely at fear. Not the kind of fear you feel when something genuinely shocking happens in the moment. This is about the lingering fear that lives in the future. The what-ifs, the worst-case scenarios, the endless mental rehearsals of every terrible thing that could possibly happen. What if I lose my job? What if my health fails? What if something terrible happens to someone I love? What if I make a wrong decision and ruin everything? What if I am simply not strong enough for what is coming? This anxiety is one of the most effective tools the enemy of your soul uses against you. It takes something that does not even exist yet, a future that has not happened, a struggle that may never arrive, and makes it feel real, immediate, and overwhelming right now. This fear of tomorrow steals the peace of the present moment, robbing you of today by keeping you trapped in a tomorrow that cannot even be seen clearly. And here is the lie buried in every fearful thought, the lie that you are facing those fears completely alone. That if the worst happens, you will be left on your own with no help, no resources, and no strength. That you will be overwhelmed and completely unable to cope. That is the lie, because it leaves God completely out of the picture. Our ministry exists to bring encouragement, prayer, and God's truth to every heart in need. You can stand with us through the PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. May God bless you abundantly for your love and support. He wants His children to listen to what He is saying right now. He is already in your tomorrow. Every single day of your future has already been seen by Him. He knows every challenge that is coming. He knows every storm on its way. And He has already prepared a way through every single one of them. Not a way around them, because spiritual growth often happens in the going through, but always a way through. Always provision enough for the exact moment it is needed. Always strength enough for the day it is required. He has never once let one of His children face a storm without being right there with them. Not once in all of history. And He is not about to start with you. The grace He gives is not given in bulk. He does not hand you a whole year's worth of strength and resources on January 1st, and then leave you alone to use it wisely. He gives it daily, fresh every morning. Enough for today. Tomorrow morning there will be fresh. His grace covers that day too. You don't need to carry next month's struggles today, because you don't yet have the grace for them. And there's no need to worry about finding that grace, because when next month comes, He will have already prepared it for you. So how do we handle fear when it arrives? Because it definitely will. The Lord isn't saying you will never feel afraid. He is showing you what to do instead. Here is His prescription. When terrifying thoughts start, don't try to fight them by pretending they aren't there. That never works. Instead, bring them to Him. Say out loud, or in your heart, God, I'm afraid of this. I cannot control this. I give it to you. Then, make a deliberate choice to remind yourself of His constant faithfulness. Remember a time when He came through for you. Recall a time when the thing you feared never happened, or when it did happen, and He got you through it. Let that memory anchor you. His perfect love and fear cannot coexist in the same heart at the same time. The more you understand how deeply and powerfully you are loved, the less room fear has to breathe. So let Him love you out of your fear. Let His presence be the thing that makes the terrifying future feel manageable. Not because you can see what lies ahead, but because you know who is already waiting there. Now, as His beloved child, He wants to speak with you about something tender and personal. Something you might try not to dwell on too long, because it stings in a way that's hard to shake. He wants to talk about the mistakes you made, the regrets you wish you could erase, the moments you'd rewrite if you could. Those choices that left wreckage behind in your own life and in the lives of those you love. He is talking about guilt. And there's a voice speaking to you about those failures, and that voice is completely merciless. It replays your regrets in vivid detail, refusing to let you forget. It keeps dragging you back to your worst moments, whispering that those failures are the truest definition of who you are, that you're fundamentally broken and can never be trusted, that you don't deserve good things and certainly don't deserve his love or forgiveness. But he wants you to understand something critical about that voice. It is not his, not even close. That is the voice of an enemy who wants you trapped. Because anyone buried under the heavy weight of their own guilt and shame is someone who cannot freely walk in their purpose. They cannot love others or receive his love well. They cannot do what he created them for. Keeping you crushed under condemnation is one of the enemy's most powerful weapons to neutralize you. Here is the truth he wants you to receive into the deepest part of yourself. What his son did on the cross was not a partial solution. It was not a temporary fix that needs to be renewed every time you fail. It was a complete, final, once-for-all payment for every wrong thing you have ever done or ever will do. Every mistake, every failure, every deliberate act of selfishness, every moment of weakness, every unkind word, every broken promise, every private sin that nobody else knows about. All of it was fully accounted for. All of it was fully paid for. All of it was fully forgiven. When he looks at you, he does not see your worst moments. He sees you through what his son has done. And what he sees is someone who is forgiven, clean, and free. Now, he wants to be clear about something important, because there is a difference between two separate things that can feel similar, but are completely different. There is what he calls conviction, and there is what the enemy brings, which is condemnation. Conviction is gentle. It comes like a quiet tug on your heart saying, "That was not right, but there is a better way. Come back. I will help you do better." Conviction always has hope in it. It always points toward restoration. It is him leading you back to yourself. Condemnation sounds nothing like that. Condemnation is harsh and hopeless. It says you failed again. What is you? You will never change. You are beyond repair. Condemnation has no hope in it. It has no path forward in it. It just loops you back to the worst of yourself again and again. If the voice speaking to you about your failures sounds like condemnation, it is not from him. Do not listen to it. Do not give it authority over your heart. What he wants for you instead is this. Bring your failures to him with honest, open hands. Not to be lectured, not to be punished, but to receive what he has already prepared for you: complete forgiveness, complete restoration, and a clean new beginning every single time. No matter how many times, no matter how bad. His grace is not a limited resource. It does not run out. It does not get tired of covering you. You are not defined by your worst moment. You are defined by what he did for you at his greatest moment. And that makes you not a prisoner of your past, but a free and fully loved child of the living God. Live like that is true because it is. He wants to talk to you about weakness, about the days when you drag yourself into this room at the end of everything you have, completely empty, completely spent running on fumes, wondering how you are possibly going to get up and do it all again tomorrow. The world has a very clear message about weakness. It says hide it, overcome it, project strength at all times. Never let them see you struggling. Never admit you cannot handle something. Weakness is a failure. Weakness is something to be ashamed of and quickly corrected. He has the exact opposite message for a person's weakness is not a problem to be solved. It is a doorway, a very specific, special kind of opening in life through which his power enters. His word states plainly that his power is made perfect in weakness. This is not just a comforting phrase, but how the kingdom actually functions. The more people operate in their own strength, confidence, and human ability, the less room there is for him to work supernaturally in them and through them. But when they reach the end of themselves, the exact moment they genuinely and honestly admit they do not have what it takes, that is when his power becomes fully available to them. Look at the times in life when his power was most visible. Were those the times when they had everything together and felt completely confident and capable? Or were they the times when they were backed into a corner, completely out of options, and when they had genuinely run out of resources and cried out to him with nothing left to offer but their need? Surely they know the answer. Weakness is not evidence that he has abandoned them or that they are failing. It is proof they are in exactly the perfect position to experience Him in a way they never have before. The weaker they are in themselves, the more clearly they see His strength at work. And that is a gift. He does not ask them to pretend they are fine when they are not. He does not ask them to perform a strength they lack. What He asks is the bravest thing a person can do, which is to be completely honest with Him. To come to Him and say, I'm tired. I do not have what this requires. I need you. I cannot do tomorrow on my own. That honest, humble, open-handed prayer is not a prayer of defeat, but of invitation. It opens the door for Him to come in and do what only He can do. And He will come in with strength for their body and clarity for their mind, peace for their heart, and wisdom for every decision they must make. Not all at once, in a way that overwhelms them, gently, daily, fresh, every morning. They were never designed to carry the weight of life alone, but to carry it with Him. They can let Him carry the heavy parts, letting Him be their strength when theirs runs out, because His never fails. To His children, if these messages have brought peace to their hearts, strengthened their faith, or reminded them of God's love, consider supporting this ministry through the PayPal links below. Together, hope and God's Word can keep reaching countless souls around the world as He leads them onward from this moment. He follows you into the rest of your life because He is not only present here in your private moments. He is in every room of your house. He is present in every relationship you have. And He wants to talk to you about the people you love the most, your family. There is nowhere in your life where His presence matters more than in your home. And there is nowhere in your life where things can be simultaneously more beautiful and more complicated than with the people closest to you. Because love that runs deep also comes with the risk of being deeply hurt. The closer someone is to you, the more power they have to hurt you. And the more power you have to hurt them. He sees the moments in your home that fill you with joy. The laughter at the dinner table. The hug from a child who does not yet know how to hold back affection. The moment of genuine connection with a partner when everything else fades and you remember why you chose each other. He sees those moments, and they are among the most beautiful things in all of His creation. A family living, laughing, and loving together is a small glimpse of what heaven looks like. And He also sees the other moments, the ones that are harder to talk about. The sharp words spoken in frustration that you wished you could pull back the instant they left your mouth. The walls of silence that go up between you and someone you love when neither of you knows how to cross back over to each other. The slow buildup of small hurts that over time created a distance you never intended. The version of yourself that you are most ashamed of. The impatient, selfish, quick-tempered version that comes out most often with the people you love the most. As His dear child, He understands. He does not judge you for it. The people closest to us bring out both the best and the worst in us, because that is the nature of genuine intimacy. You cannot be truly known without also being truly seen in your worst moments. But here is what He wants you to hear. The love your family needs from you is beyond what you can generate on your own. He is not saying that to discourage you. He is saying it to free you from the pressure of trying to be enough. The patience, the forgiveness, the unconditional love, the gentleness. In hard moments, those things are impossible to sustain from your own supply. They run out. But when you come to Him, first, when you spend time in this room with Him, letting Him fill you with His love, His patience, His grace, then you have something real to bring to the people in your home. You give from overflow rather than from emptiness. This is why time alone with Him is not selfish. It is not you neglecting your family for your spirituality. This quiet moment is actually the most generous gift one can offer their family. Because in this sacred room, they transform into the person their loved ones truly need. It is here that their impatience is traded for deep, lasting patience. It is here that old resentments are finally exchanged for forgiveness. In this space, their empty souls are completely refilled. They are called to seek this place daily before life's demands pile up. Pile up. They must seek Him when they are in the middle of a difficult season in their relationships. They must run here when they have no idea how to love someone who is difficult. They must bring that relationship directly to Him. Lay it all out before Him, honestly sharing exactly what's so hard. Ask Him what love requires in this moment, then carry His strength back into that difficult connection. Family is one of the most vital assignments God will ever entrust to them. Not because it is easy, but because it is where life-changing love truly takes root. They must tend it with care and constant prayer, and they should never stop bringing it to Him. God wants to follow them out of their homes and into another place where they spend a massive portion of their lives, their workplaces, their schools, wherever it is they spend their days working and learning. He wants to share something that might surprise believers at first because so many have drawn a hard line between their spiritual lives and their daily work. They assume God is present on Sundays, but absent on Monday mornings. They treat prayer and worship as if they are for just one category of life, while deadlines, spreadsheets, and meetings belong to a completely separate secular box. That line does not exist. He is the God of their entire life, every single part of it, including the hours when they clock in and do their jobs. The place where they work is not a distraction from their calling. It is actually one of the main areas where that calling is lived out daily. They are placed in unique environments with specific people who desperately need to see something authentic. They need to meet someone who treats them with genuine dignity and deep respect. They need to witness what true, honest integrity looks like. Someone who speaks truth even when inconvenient and shows kindness when it costs them dearly. They need to encounter a person who carries an unexplainable peace when everything around them is completely chaotic. That person can be them. That powerful witness is available to them daily in the most ordinary moments of their working lives. He wants them to stop viewing their jobs as just a way to make money. He wants them to see it as a sacred assignment. He placed them in that exact office on that team working on that project, surrounded by those particular people, because there is something he wants to accomplish there, and he wants to work through them. They are his representatives in that space, his ambassadors, the way they work and the way they treat others. People are a living, breathing testimony to who God is. When believers do their work with excellence and genuine care, not just because their boss is watching, but because they work for him, it becomes an act of worship. When they treat the most difficult colleague in their workplace with patience and respect, giving their full effort even on the days when they feel least motivated, choosing honesty even when a small shortcut would be more convenient. They represent him without saying a single religious word. Their unique talents, the things they do well in professional life, are not secular talents that happen to be separate from their spiritual gifts. God gave them those skills. He designed their minds. He gave them that way with numbers, creativity, a gift for communication, and the ability to organize or work with their hands. These are sacred gifts entrusted to them for a purpose beyond making a living. God can use their professional competence combined with their character as a platform for his purposes. People will notice the quality of their work. They will notice the depth of their character. And eventually they will ask, why? Why are they different? Where does their peace come from? What keeps them steady in the storm? And that is their moment. That is the door God opens when they show up faithfully in the ordinary. So tonight in this room, God calls them to rededicate their work, to surrender their careers, their ambitions, and their daily goals, and ask him to anoint them for tomorrow. Asking him to show them who needs what only they can offer. They enter the workplace tomorrow not just as an employee, but as representatives of the King. They will be surprised by what happens when they face Monday that way. Before we continue, let's take a quick moment. If this message is speaking to your heart today, if you feel something stirring in your spirit, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. There are people out there right now who are sitting in their rooms carrying deep wounds and their own quiet fears. This message could reach them through a simple act. Never underestimate the power of that. One share. It can be the reason a life changes today. Every video is created with prayer and dedication to reach those who may be searching for encouragement and faith. By supporting this ministry through PayPal, we keep this mission growing and touching lives each day. God blesses them abundantly. He wants to speak to them now about generosity and what happens in that quiet space when he says to open their hands, not clench them. He watches, and he has seen something in them. He wants to name and celebrate. Even during seasons when their own resources have felt stretched incredibly thin. Even in moments when they were not sure how things were going to work out. Yet he has seen the compassion in their hearts rise up whenever they saw someone else in need. He has heard the prayers they prayed when seeing suffering in this world, when they whispered to him, wishing they could do something to help even when they do not know how. That deep compassion does not come from them alone. It is his heart beating in theirs. The ache they feel when they see the broken and the hurting is an echo of how he feels about them. He put that within them because he wants them to be the answer. Generosity is not just about money, though, that is included. It is a posture of the heart, a decision to be a person who gives rather than someone who only receives. It is the conscious choice to be a channel where blessings flow to others instead of a container that keeps everything for itself. And here is the remarkable thing about generosity in his kingdom. It does not work like the world's economy works. In the world's economy, giving means having less. They start with 100, give away 20, and have 80 left. Simple subtraction, but his kingdom does not run on the world's math. In his kingdom, generosity is not subtraction. It is seed planting, and seeds do not result in less. Seeds result in harvests. Every genuine act of cheerful, faith-filled generosity they practice is a seed he commits to, multiplying back to them in ways they cannot predict or plan for. Not because he is in a transaction or they deserve a reward, but because generosity is an open hand, and an open hand can receive far more than a closed fist. He does not tell them to give to yet. The heart that gives only for a return is not really given. It is investing, which is different. What he is inviting them into is a generosity so deep and free that it flows from their love for him and their love for others, not out of a desire for personal benefit. That kind of giving done with a joyful and open heart is the kind that he delights in. It is the kind that reflects his own character most clearly, because he is the original giver. Everything they have, their lives, their breath, their abilities, their relationships, every good thing they enjoy came directly from his open and generous hand. They have never given him anything they did not first receive from him. And when they give to others from what he has given them, they are participating in the most beautiful cycle in the universe. He warns against letting fear close their hands or letting scarcity thinking convince them that they cannot afford to be generous. They must trust him with their giving. They must bring it to him in prayer, asking who to give to how much and when, and then obey his promptings quickly before fear has a chance to talk them out of it. Each time they do, they will find that the supply never dries up. The channel stays open, and over time they will look back and marvel at how much flowed through their lives to bless others and how much was poured back in to bless them. Now he wants to return to this room, to the quiet where they are, and he wants to speak about something that affects more people than almost anything else he witnesses in these private spaces. He wants to address the noise of the world outside. They can hear it even when they are inside. Not always with physical ears, but in their minds, in their spirits, the noise of the world seeps in. The breaking news is always urgent and always alarming, with social media feeds full of conflict and comparison. And outrage, the economic worries, the political division, and the sense that the world is spinning faster and faster, making it harder to keep up with. The world outside their room is often loud, chaotic, frightening, and full of uncertainty, and it does not stay outside. It follows them inside. It sits with them in the silence, raising their heart rate and tightening their chests, filling their minds with a kind of constant, low-grade anxiety that makes it hard to truly rest. He wants his beloved children to know something about him that will change how they experience the noise. He is not anxious, not for a single second, about any of it. The things that fill headlines and keep him awake at night. He has seen them all coming. Not one of them surprised him. Not one of them is outside his awareness or beyond his authority. The world may feel like it is careening, out of control, but it is not out of his control, not 1 inch of it. He is not a distant God watching the chaos from far away, powerless to do anything about it. He is actively involved in the world's story, working in ways that are often invisible to human eyes. Moving pieces, opening doors and closing. Others turning events toward purposes they will only fully understand later, when they can see the whole picture. In the meantime, he invites them to consecrate this room, making it a sanctuary, a holy place where, when they cross the threshold and close the door, they make a deliberate choice to turn their hearts toward him instead of toward the noise. Not to ignore what is happening in the world, nor to be naive or uninformed, but to anchor themselves first in his presence before engaging into the world's chaos, carrying his peace with you rather than letting it steal yours. His peace is not a fragile thing. It never depends on your circumstances being perfect. It is a deep, unshakable quiet that comes from knowing whose hands hold the universe. You can feel his peace in the middle of absolute uncertainty. You can hold on to his quietness in the middle of a raging storm, because true peace is never about what happens around you. It is about who lives inside you. Bring global news to him in prayer. Instead of letting it fill your heart with anxiety, let it spark intercession. Let the things breaking your heart be the very things you carry to his throne in prayer. Let your response to this difficult world be to pray more, to love more deeply, and to give generously while living with true purpose. That is how you change the world, not by worrying about it, but by carrying his presence. A single act of kindness can help God's message reach someone who desperately needs hope today. If you feel blessed by this channel, please support us through the PayPal. Links in the description and pinned comment below. Thank you for helping us spread God's love one soul at a time. To his dear child, he wants to speak with you now about integrity, about who you are in this room when no one is watching, when there is no crowd to please, no reputation to protect, no image to defend. The person you are in this room, in the secret places in private moments, that is the truest version of you. And he has seen that person. He has seen the choices you make when no one else is there to notice. He has seen you be kind when no one was watching to praise you for it. He has seen you be honest when a dishonesty would have been undetected and far more convenient. He has seen you stay faithful in the small things when no one was there to reward you for your faithfulness. And he wants you to know that those moments matter more to him than almost anything you do in public. The public version of yourself is the one the world sees and evaluates and responds to. But the private version, the one who lives in this room, that is the one he is most interested in. That is the one that tells him the most about your heart. Integrity is not primarily about being good when people are watching. That is just reputation management. Real integrity is being the same person in private that you are in public. It is making the right choices in the dark that you would make in the light. It is treating people with the same respect when they cannot benefit you, just as you treat them when they can. That kind of integrity, the unseen kind, the unrecognized kind, the kind that does not get applause that is worship. It is one of the most powerful and beautiful forms of worship you can offer him. It matters because it tells him something profound about your heart. It shows him that you love him for who he is, not just for what he can do for you or what he can be seen giving you. It shows him that your faith is real, not a performance. And that realness, that authentic, unpolished, private love for him is one of the most precious things in all of his creation. When he looks at your life and sees that the public version and the private version of you are the same person, that your values in the quiet are the same as your values in the spotlight, he is so deeply pleased. That kind of character is what he builds destinies on. Keep choosing it, dear child. Keep choosing honesty when dishonesty would be easier. Keep choosing kindness when no one is there to see it. Keep choosing faithfulness in the small things when no one is keeping track. Not for the reward, though the reward is real and is coming, but because it is right. Because it is who he made you to be. And because in those moments of private integrity, you are most fully alive as the person he created you to be. This sacred time is nearing its end, and before it closes, he wants to look at you once more and say something that he wants you to carry with you long after this video ends. You came into this time carrying things. He knows that. You came carrying worries, questions, wounds, and maybe a quiet hope that something in these words would speak to what you've been needing to hear. And he hopes you can feel, even now, that something has happened here. Not just information transferred from a screen to your mind. Something more than that. Something real and quiet and alive between you and him. You are known. You are seen. You are not forgotten. There is no season of your life that is so dry, so lost, so far gone, that he cannot reach you in it. There is no wound so deep that his love cannot heal it. There is no mistake so large that his grace cannot cover it. There is no dream so big that his power cannot achieve it through your willing and surrendered life. Whatever brought you to this moment, whatever is waiting for you when this video ends and real life resumes, you do not go back to it alone. He is going with you into the kitchen, into the office, into the difficult conversation you have been avoiding, into the decision you have been afraid to make. He is in all of it. All he asks is that you keep this room sacred. Keep coming back here. Keep making space for silence in a world that is terrified of silence. Keep turning your heart toward him before you turn it toward the noise. Because every time you come back to this room and choose to be with him, something grows. The roots go deeper. The faith gets stronger. Peace grows more settled. Love becomes more real. And from this room, this private place of communion between them and their Creator, they will become someone who transforms the rooms around them. They will carry His presence into the lives of their family, into their workplace, and into their community, into every ordinary and extraordinary moment of their one extraordinary life. The world needs them to be who He made them to be, not a smaller, safer, more fearful version of themselves. The true self, the fully alive, fully loved, fully purposed, gloriously freed version of them, the one He envisioned when He dreamed of them. They are His beloved children, and He is so very glad they are His. Now they must live like they believe it, because it is true. And before they go, if this message has meant something to them today, they are invited one final time to take a moment and subscribe to this channel if they haven't already, and share this video with someone who needs to hear these words. There are people in their circle right now who are sitting alone in their own rooms, feeling forgotten and afraid. And their simple act of sharing could be the thing that reminds them they are not alone. They may never know in this life whose day they changed or whose heart they helped, but God will know, and that matters. Their presence is truly appreciated. With gratitude for their listening, may the peace that passes all understanding guard their hearts and minds from this day forward. Amen.